Hey everyone, welcome to another Horror Coasters video. So you might have seen in the title, this is a top 20 coaster list. And you might be saying, well, you guys just did a top 25, you guys did a top 50. Well, anytime that you see a top coaster list or anything like that, it's Milo doing it. I'm not really that into doing my favorite coasters. Oh, I need to get something. Needed to get my list of top coasters, or else I will forget what they are. Milo was bugging me. I want you to do a list. So begrudgingly, I put together a top 20 list. I find it very difficult because, like, my top few coasters, I'm like, okay, I really like these. I know I like these more than others. But then once you start getting into like 6, 7 through 20, whatever, I'm not really sure. It's like, what makes me think that this coaster is so much better than that coaster or whatever. But I thought about it, and Milo hates my list. But of course I like my list because it's my list. Here we go. So at number 20 we have X2. X2 at Magic Mountain. What I like about this, the reason it got in my top 20, it was a unique coaster. It was the only coaster like that I've ever ridden. I've had a chance to ride free spins, but I don't know if I would like that. This is more of a controlled spin. So I think I can handle a little bit better, because something about twisting and all that during the ride and doesn't appeal to me. So all the free spins, the ones that are at most of the Six Flags parks, I never rode any of those. So 20 X2. Number 19 at Dollywood, Thunderhead. Thunderhead was a really good GCI. It had you out of your seat, good airtime. I really like wooden coasters. I really like GCIs. So Thunderhead coming in at 19. 18, our first appearance of our home park, Cedar Point, I have Valravn. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of Valravn. People think it's overrated. It's the only dive coaster I've been on, and again, it's unique to me since it's the only one I've ridden. So it makes my top 20 at 18. Number 17, Intimidator. Not Intimidator 305, so don't worry people, don't be freaking out. Intimidator at Carowinds, the B&M Hyper. Just a fun, a lot of the B&M Hypers are similar. This one, I don't know, I think this one falls right in just because, right in the top 20, because it's just fun and I enjoyed it. Number 16, Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper, I think, is an underrated coaster. I think it's a lot of fun, especially if you do a back seat. I think if you ride it front, it's decent. If you ride it middle, it's okay. If you ride it back row, I think it's a great ride. It's smooth. It's not intense, obviously, but wing coasters aren't meant to be intense. Number 15, the Beast. We'll go with the classic Woody. No real airtime. You know about the Beast. It's just a bunch of flat track, a bunch of turns. But what really does it is just the environment that you're in, going through the woods, going through the tunnels, the sheds, especially at night. Every enthusiast knows about Beast Night Ride. Number 14, another B&M Hyper, Diamondback. I think Diamondback, I ride it more often because we go to Kings Island a few times a year. I've rode Intimidator maybe 3 or 4 times. I've ridden Diamondback, I don't know how many times. So that might be why it's ahead of Intimidator, and also the Splashdown. I like uniqueness in rides, so you got the Splashdown that really I think sets it apart. Number 13, El Toro. Now, Milo freaked out that this was so low on my list. But the reason that El Toro is lower on my list is because it hurt my legs. The restraints, it's not a T-bar that just comes straight down. It's got like sides, almost like Magnum's restraints. And it hurt the side of my legs during like the banks and stuff. Awesome ride, great airtime, great banks. I mean, I loved the ride. And if it wasn't for it hurting my legs, it would be a lot higher. But 13, El Toro. Number 12, we have Twisted Timbers. So here's our first RMC coming into the list. Twisted Timbers, short ride, but excellent. The barrel roll drop, I think you call it. A lot of fun, good airtime. Back row is amazing on it. Number 11, we got the other Timbers, Mystic Timbers. Mystic Timbers, if it wasn't so short, I would have it up higher because it's a great GCI. Back row, you get airtime on the drops. Number 10. So now we go getting into our top 10 here, or my top 10, I should say. Top Thrill Dragster. I love launches. I love launch coasters. So anything with a launch is going to make me happy. I love launches. So Top Thrill Dragster's launch, I think, is one of my favorite elements, one of my favorite single elements on any coaster I've ever been on. That launch is just insane. A little spoiler here, Kingda Ka did not make it onto this list. I think the main reason I didn't put it on this list is part because it's so much like Top Thrill. But it just didn't feel the same to me. The over-the-shoulder restraints, the usual suspects of what you hear other people saying about Kingda Ka versus Top Thrill Dragster. What do we got now? Number 9, Millennium. Millennium, it's dear to my heart. Old coaster. I grew up going to Cedar Point, and I started going in the early 80s when I was young. And I was always afraid of heights, and I still am afraid of heights. And when I tell people that one of me and my son Milo's biggest hobbies are going to amusement parks to ride roller coasters, people are like, well, how are you afraid of heights? And so I just deal with it. I'm scared when I'm going up hills. That's why I like launches so much, because launches just take you straight up the hill and there's no worry. But Millennium, when it came out, it just looked so huge. I mean, I was already, 20 something, whatever. I was already in my 20s by the time it came out. But still looked huge. I didn't see anything like it before, and I was afraid to ride it at first, but when I finally rode it, had fun, and now it's a staple. We ride it weekly. Number 8, we have Fury 325. This one, I don't remember completely. I haven't ridden in a few years, and maybe it would be a little bit higher if I rode it more recently. But what I remember, it was excellent, a lot of fun going through the tunnel when you're kind of out of the park into like the walkway area. That's a lot of fun. Cool elements, great ride. Number 7 is I-305. So I have all my Gigas just kind of 1, 2, 3, 9, 8, 7. Intimidator 305, my favorite Giga, and that one is just a mix between Maverick and Millennium, so I loved it. I loved those two rides, so it fits right in there and right in between both of them, minus the launch. If I-305 had a launch anywhere in the ride, I would be like, that's my favorite ride. So number 6, this one might surprise people. Milo didn't like it that I had it on here. Full Throttle. Full Throttle at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I said I love launches. This one launches you into the big vertical loop. Takes you into a little kind of station type thing. Launches you backwards. Launches like when you're coming forward. It gives you a little other launch, and it's a short little ride. I just loved it. I had so much fun on it, and that's what I base all my rankings on, by how much fun I had on it, because that's what roller coasters are supposed to be. They're supposed to be fun. So now we're getting into our top 5. Number 5, Ghost Rider. GCI Woody, Knott's Berry Farm, loved it. We got a good couple night rides on it when we were there. Just a lot of fun. And like I said, that's what I base my list on, fun. Ghost Rider. Number 4, Twisted Colossus. This is the second RMC that I've been on. Well, it was the first RMC I ever rode, but this is my second on the list. Twisted Colossus. This one could be higher. It was a lot of fun. People say if it's dueling, it's a lot better. If it's dueling, it's a little bit more exciting and gives you a little bit more to the ride, but I don't think it takes away from the ride when it's not dueling. I don't understand why it's that big of a deal. Number 3, Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod, Dollywood, launch, RMC. The only 2 complaints, I would make it a little bit longer and put at least 1 inversion. Throw an inversion in there. It's not necessary, but a little bit longer would have moved it up. And it does battle with my number 2 coaster anyway. It could, number 2 and number 3 can interchange at any time, I guess, for me. Number 2, Maverick. Maverick was my favorite coaster until number 1 came along. I loved it. It's got the launch up, the mini launch. People debate whether it's a launch or not. I call it a launch. It's a magnetic launch. Takes you up the first hill. Beyond 90-degree drop. Beautiful launch in the middle. Couple nice inversions. A couple nice airtime, ejector airtime hills. Just fun ride. Non-stop, intense. Love it. And number 1, I don't even need to say it, Steel Vengeance. Steel Vengeance is amazing in my eyes. It's really, if it had a launch, I know I talk all about launches. If it had a launch, it would be the perfect coaster. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but whatever. So there you go. There's my top 20 coasters, horror coasters, Jesse's version. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, like, share. See you next time.